Hi, I'm Paul Perdue, and I am the infrastructure nerd.
And I'm Mary Jo Boyd, and I'm a legal technologist.
You know, there is a lot of information in PracticeMaster, and quite frequently you have to drill down and push this button and go here to get to what you're looking for.
Wouldn't it be easier if you could just see all that on that one screen?
Well, you can. We have this neat thing called Snapshots that when they're configured right and set up right, they can bring all that information right out to the surface.
That is really cool. Can you show us how that works?
Why, of course. So as I said, every list, every place where you can click on something and see this little preview, that preview is what we call a snapshot. And the snapshot comes out of the box, for instance, in this client list, showing these bits of detail about each particular record, what the work description is, what the client's name is, information about address and phone number and email address for the contact for the client. But not always everything that you want to see. Other places where you have multiple records, like here's calendar items. No matter which tab you happen to be on, let's pull it up by user and look at MLJ. Whichever tab you happen to be on, you still have this thing down here called the snapshot. And the snapshot shows you different bits of data for whatever record you happen to be highlighting. That's very cool because it allows you to see instantly, without having to drill down into the record, what it is that you're looking at. If we go over here to our people file, which you may have heard us talk about in a different Paul and Mary Jo show or a different video from us, this is a file that holds information about the people that are tied to this matter. It really just holds that person's contact and what role they play. Everything else it pulls in from the contact file. And so when we look at this snapshot here, even though Lauren Phillips's name and address and phone number and all that information is coming from the contact file, we're seeing it right here. Without this snapshot to show us this information for each record that we happen to be landing on, we'd have to drill down here and then click here to go into the contact file and perhaps go over here to the miscellaneous tab or back to the main tab to get that information. When in fact, if we have a properly designed snapshot, it's going to show us everything we need to know about that record, even if it happens to come from another file that is linked in, like the contact record is actually linked into this people record. And that's where these addresses and phone numbers are coming from. We've even gone so far in our snapshot for our people file to show the relationships between the attorney and the people they represent, or between the defendant or plaintiff and the attorney that's representing them. So when I click on Lauren Phillips, who's a defendant, I see that Lauren is represented by Kellyanne White. And when I click on Kelly White, I see that she is representing Lauren Phillips. All this information is immediately available to me simply by clicking on the record without having to open it, without having to drill into the contact file. And if there's more information that I want, we merely need to edit the screen here so that the snapshot file, and I'll show you that in a second, so that we're presenting that information. Maybe for our list for clients, we want to see that client's taxpayer ID number on the snapshot. Or maybe that kind of looks like a taxpayer ID, but it's not. Maybe we want to see the cause number or the claim number or the county of filing. All that information can be brought through to the snapshot. So some of these snapshots come out of the box looking rather nice, but they might not have the right information. If we go over to the snapshot, for instance, for calendar as it comes out of the box for PracticeMaster, once we get past the basic information on the calendar, the fact that it's an event from 10 to 11, and that the user that's attending this event is MLJ, we kind of get into a point where it just kind of spits the information out on the screen. It's not very pretty. It's not organized very well. Perhaps you want to see this as 10 a.m.-11 a.m. You don't want to have to look all the way over here for start time and then look all the way over here for end time. A lot of things could be changed even on the nice looking snapshots that come right out of the box with PracticeMaster. But when you get to something like their version of people, or a people file, which they call related contacts, then you really don't get anything. You're not getting the name, the address and the phone and the email address and any of the information. You're not linking together defendants and counsel or vice versa. None of that's happening there. And so thinking through what you want to see on, for instance, your People tab and the snapshot that relates to it, and then planning that snapshot out can be a huge benefit in bringing this information to the top, bringing it to the surface, so that without having to dig down here and click here and then go over to this tab here, you're able instead to simply see all the information that you need right from the list by clicking on the appropriate person. You can even dial the phone and start an email. If I click on this email address, you'll notice down here that it has started an email to Leanne in this instance. And so all of these things are available right there. Now, how does this work? Well, let's go take a look real quick. I'm going to go into the computer, and I am going to get to this directory where we happen to have this. And I'm just going to show you that it's in a subfolder called Snapshot. And if you find the appropriate file, for instance, here is the snapshot for the People file. I'm in the People folder, and so I'm looking at a snapshot called people.htm. Now, I warn you, this isn't for the faint of heart. This is HTML code, and it also involves something called cascading style sheets. So it's HTML, which stands for hypertext markup language, and CSS files, which stands for cascading style sheets. That's the basis for this stuff. If you know how those things work, you are able to alter what order things appear, to add fields that aren't already there, to drill down into the contact file and pull information out of there. But as I said, it's not for the faint of heart. You have to understand how these files work, how the logic behind them works, and how to address these fields. There is a limited amount of documentation on how to work with snapshots that if you're wanting to play with snapshots, we can provide you with. And you can do this. But the point is, they can be altered. And that's half the battle right there. Knowing that we can take these and make them present this information puts you in a position where you can either try to do it yourself, or you can pull in somebody like us or somebody else that knows how to do this and get these modified the way you want them to be. Very important to know, very important to be able to do, but more important to be able to know that you can do. So there you have it. Snapshots and how to configure them.
And that's just one more way that we can help you worry less
And practice more.